Hello everyone. 2021 marks the Kinesiology Federation's 30th anniversary. To celebrate this occasion, we are chatting with some of the founding members of the Federation and others who've been involved over the years as well as with notable figures from the wide world of kinesiology. I'm Bettina Katz, the administrator of the KF, and today I'm speaking with Madison King. Madison is a writer, mentor and teacher, and she is basically the right hand of Donna Eden. She's been working with Donna Eden for over 30 years. She is the Eden Energy Medicine's head of advanced training in the USA and the head of all training in Europe for Eden's Energy Medicine. She's also the creator and founder of Madison's Medicine. Welcome, Madison. So happy to have you here. How are you today?
I am so happy to be here, Bettina, and hello everyone. I'm so excited about this, and I just thank God for technology. Otherwise, this would not be able to happen.
Yeah,
a fantastic 30th.
Brilliant. Yeah, we're so happy to have you. We had you at the 25th anniversary in Stanford.
Oh, I know. Gosh, you know, that's gone in a blink of an eye. That was so much fun.
Yeah, really yeah. Was. So we thought we'd have you back for the 30th.
I'm very honoured. I am very honoured, and I hope you're going to enjoy what I've got to share with you.
I'm sure. So we usually start with the question of how your life was before kinesiology, and then kind of how you got into kinesiology, if you can weave that into as well. So
okay,
tell us how you stumbled or discovered kinesiology.
Well, first of all, I don't know if I should share what my life was before kinesiology, because in actual fact, you know, I don't actually recognize that Maddie King from all those years ago, but I'll tell you a little bit about her. I've always sensed energy. I think we all do in our own way, but I had never, ever really understood it. I didn't know what I was sensing, you know, I was dismiss it as, you know, it's just me sort of thing, you know. And I was young and I was in London, central London, and I fell into the wicked world of advertising, international advertising. And for a young woman, that was so exciting, because in those days, Bettina, it was before, nowadays they have to work really hard. In those days, we had so much fun making television commercials, and we all had big expense accounts, and I had a top of the range BMW and pouncing around. Oh, this is lovely, wonderful. And that went on for a few years. And I became a board director. I achieved everything I would achieve in that, because I knew I wouldn't go any further, because I just didn't have that sort of killer instinct, if you want to. I wasn't hungry really to go any further. And I come from the Isle of Wight, and one Christmas I was walking along the beach on the Isle of Wight. I love the sea, you know, and it's water, and water is about new beginnings. It's the sort of philosopher. So I was feeling a bit philosophical as I was walking along the beach that Christmas, and it just came to me, leave now. So it was the first time I'd ever really listened to that voice. You know, all my friends would say, you're absolutely crazy to leave. This is a fantastic job. You make lots of money and all of that. But with hindsight, you know, even then, I think I sensed that it's not about money. You know, I knew I wasn't walking this earth to be making 30-second television commercials, you know, and being in that advertising. But I also think with hindsight, I needed to do it, to have all those things, to think, I don't really want them, you know. So that January, I went into the agency and I resigned. They all thought I'd gone off my rocker, you know, but I jumped off the cliff effectively, and I didn't know where on earth I was going to jump. But somehow I had the belief, and I don't know where it came from, that if I jumped off that cliff, all would be revealed. I say I had that belief as I was jumping, as I was resigning. A voice in my head was saying, you sure you're doing the right thing here? But again, with hindsight, absolutely the right time, right place, right thing to do. And when I jumped off that cliff, I became a workshop groupie. This is in the days before internet, before the amazing access we have to books and everything that are imported and translated. And I studied with many body workers. I studied with Claire Maxwell Hudson for massage, reflexology, aromatherapy, Indian head massage, nutrition, Traeger, everything. And everything was wonderful, but I still thought, what is this that I'm feeling, you know? And I stumbled across Donna Eden. And that woman absolutely changed my life. And I literally did, or you could say, sort of stumble again around her, over her. And what was in those days, because there was no internet, we all went in droves every year to the Mind, Body, Spirit show up in central London. And I went one day and I was sitting in one of the free classes where, you know, the speakers would talk about the class they're going to do the next day. And of course, Donna Eden's up there in all her glory. And those of you who know Donna know she is incredibly charismatic on stage. But beyond that, I just thought, oh my God, this woman is talking and describing everything I feel. This is the answer. Went home, I'm going to try and cut a long story short, went home, phoned a friend of mine from yoga and said, you've got to come with me tomorrow to the Mind, Body, Spirit to hear this woman, Donna Eden. Amazing, you know? So this friend just laughed and she said, I used to live next door to Donna in Ashland, Oregon.
Oh.
And so with that, I met Donna through her. And the minute we saw each other, there was a connection. And I used to hop over to America every sort of 3 months or so. And she would train me. The classes in those days, I feel so privileged, were really small. There were maybe 4 of us in her back garden or something like that, you know. But I came into this energy work and, you know, kinesiology was part of that at a time when all the trailblazers were there, you know. So I studied with her. I studied with John Thie, Touch for Health. I took some classes with Gordon Stokes with health kinesiology. Everything was exciting and happening and feeling its feet. So I came in at an incredibly exciting time and I was a course groupie and thoroughly enjoyed it. And after a few years, so I was a practitioner, an advanced practitioner of Eden Energy Medicine. And after a few years, Donna said, I want you to teach it now. And I don't know if any of you out there feel this. You think, oh, I don't really know enough. You know, I can't teach it, Donna. I don't know enough, you know. And she sort of said to me, do you think I'd ask you to teach it if I thought you couldn't? Just go and share what you know. So I thought, I was like, oh no. Anyway, she did the dirty on me, Donna Eden, if ever she watches this, okay? Because we're at the Mind, Body, Spirit. She had probably 200 people in that room. And we're coming to the end. She said, if you want to know more about my work, Madison, stand up. Where's Madison? Madison's doing a class next month, aren't you, Madison? Now, am I going to contradict her in that situation? So basically I went, yes. I had all these people come and I thought, well, I'll do it once. I was terrified of teaching. I didn't think I could do it. And it is the most exhilarating experience, you know, just to share. I think I'm a perpetual student, but just to share what she had shared with me. And she's the most generous woman in sharing of her knowledge and her wisdom, you know. And so I've been a teacher ever since then. And that was probably, I don't know, 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, something like that. So that's the long story, very colourful story, really, how I got into it. And then she started her training in America. Then she wanted it in Europe. So I launched it and I run it now for her there.
Brilliant.
Yes,
I mean,
you have to press the pause button on me, Bettina.
No, we're not pressing any pause buttons. We want to hear it all. We want to hear everything. So that, yeah, sounds like, gosh, an amazing transformation for you to get into kinesiology. So we're also always interested in, I mean, that could be about yourself or confidentially about any clients or students that you worked with, any transformation that you've experienced through kinesiology. Is there anything you can think of and like to share with us?
Yes, I will share. I think if I talk about me, because I love talking about me, right? I think, in all honesty, what kinesiology has done for me is it's transformed me and it's helped me to evolve spiritually. We've all had, we all have energetic blocks. We all have things that have happened to us in the past. And, I abused my body in the past. I'm of that sort of hippie era where we weren't particularly good. And then in the wild world of advertising. And I just go, thank you very much for bearing up to me, buddy. But I think that kinesiology began to remove a lot of energetic blocks and then a lot of mental debris and fogging. So I got much more clarification of where I was going, what I wanted to do. It helped me evolve spiritually as well as physically. It gave me confidence, okay? And I think one of the gifts that kinesiology can give anyone is a feeling after a while. It's not instant, but after a while you get this real feeling and belief that it's empowering you to deal with the labyrinth of life, whether it's relationships, your physical challenges, your mental, your emotional, whatever. Suddenly you don't feel alone. Kinesiology is your friend. It empowers you and it walks with you. It doesn't make life easy, but it makes life much easier. And, I think Emoto always says, two of the most powerful emotions are gratitude and love. And I do have love for kinesiology, but I also have immense gratitude for the day and the circumstance that I, discovered it. Yeah.
It's amazing just listening to your story, kind of, you sounds like you were kind of getting ready for it anyway, kind of for a change. And then things happened with a flow more, kind of, where you...
And I think that's it in life, Bettina, it's timing. I think if I come to it any earlier, I think there was part of a very immature Maddie King who wanted the BMW, who wanted the Gucci briefcase. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I did in those days. I wanted the padded shoulders and, thought I was Joan Collins, all of this. And I think to really get the most out of what I was put here for in life, we're all put here for a reason. I had to get all that stuff out the way, and getting it out the way was living it and getting it, achieving it, and realizing, yeah, this is great, but it's not making me happy.
It's almost like a done it, tick it, move on, kind of. You had to get it out of your system, because it's often, I don't know if you could call it conditioning, but it's what we think people expect of us, or what we think of how life should plan out, and then you do it and then you realize there's nothing wrong with it, but you realize it's not for me.
Not for me at this moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let that go. And that is the beauty, is when you get into the sync with energies, which we do when we work with kinesiology, suddenly your timing in life, the synchronicities in life are actually jaw-dropping sometimes. You think, oh my goodness, how could I ever have doubted that there's not something looking after me?
Yeah.
So but of course you're much more open to it if you're working with your energies.
So it's having that trust and doing what you do, and just trusting that if there's change needed, then I will come to this point. So maybe what would you say to people who have never experienced kinesiology and think, I'm not sure if this is for me, I'm not quite at that point yet? Is there, I don't know, anything you can, is it just a matter of you will know when you're ready, or just give it a try? Or
I think to people who are not sure about it, if it's for them or not, I always think, open your mind. Okay, this is what I do in life. I open my mind and I say, if it's the right time, let it just fall into my lap. I'll put myself in the right position. I'll go on the course and just see, and give yourself permission to say, yeah, I like it, but maybe not at the moment, but try it. you know. And I always think you get big hints from the universe that, you know, things will just keep falling in. Someone will keep mentioning kinesiology, or things happen, and you just think, oh, I'm going to have to try this now, because I'm pretty sure that once you do try it, you'll be hooked.
I'm sure, yeah. It was kind of the same with me. My mom kept mentioning this kinesiologist that I should see when I was in my late 20s, and I kept saying, no, I don't believe in this, you know, it's all no. And then I went, and then it changed my life.
Just change your life. But you know, that whole thing about, oh, I don't believe this. I still get that sometimes, Bettina. You know, sometimes I hadn't worked with clients, obviously, since the pandemic, but you know, so many times you get results and you think, oh, I don't believe that. Oh my goodness me, you know, or myself, you know, and it still surprises me sometimes, you know, and that's why I think I still love it, because it's always evolving. You're always discovering something new in kinesiology, you know. And you'll discover, I would say to people who are, you know, just dipping their toes in it, that just trust that what you need, either for yourself or for the clients, you'll learn. You know, the number of times I've read an article or another kinesiologist has told me something, and I know that with that little bit of wisdom, I'm going to need it for someone within probably 7 days, maybe 14. So once you surrender to the flow of the wisdom, you know, it just happens.
And then you continuously learn from your clients as well, don't you? You know,
I am a perpetual student. I actually don't particularly like calling myself a teacher, because I just think I'm a perpetual student, and I'm sharing with you what I'm learning, because it is like an Aladdin's cave, and you learn something all the time. You know, a lifetime is too short, really. You learn something all the time, and that is refreshing. It's exciting. It's inspiring.
And that sounds like exactly what maintains your passion for kinesiology, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. And I am, you know, and I have to be a bit careful I don't get too, what's that word, evangelical about it, because it, you know, it is so wonderful, but it is wonderful because it works. It surprises us. It makes you feel empowered for all the reasons I've talked about, but mainly because it's never ending. You know, you're always learning. That keeps you young, Bettina.
So we have kind of described how we feel about kinesiology. How would you describe kinesiology to somebody you come across, you meet, or who hasn't heard or discovered or experienced kinesiology yet?
Well, it really does. The vocabulary and the way I describe it really does depend on the person I'm talking to. So I would describe it very differently to sort of someone in Reiki or a massage therapist to a barrister or, you know, a businessman or something. But the general sort of theme of what I say is, you know, this is a technique which was developed in the sort of chiropractic and dental professions, because that sort of sets it as not too strange. Do you know what I mean? And basically, it's a mechanical technique. It uses your muscles, the resistance in your muscles, to build, if you want, an energetic bridge into the body's inherent self-healing, because within all of us there is what I call a wise one within, and that wise one within in your body really knows what your body needs at the moment, be it nutritional, structural, emotional, whatever. It knows. So when you can build a bridge, when you can ask the wise one within, what do I need, then you're getting real wisdom, which you can tap into to really release the potential of that person's self-healing ability, if you want, you know, to encourage stability and health. Okay. So that's what I say. Versions of that. I try, because if no one's come across it, we run the danger of sounding too, oh, I work with the body's energies and you know, if you come in, it's a mechanical thing. Actually, it was developed by these, you know, very respected people. but it is a bridge because your body knows how to heal itself. So it's a bridge in to that knowledge, to that wisdom.
It just gives me a shiver down my spine when you explain that. Like, yeah,
that's it.
That makes a lot of sense. So you're obviously a very successful businesswoman running successful businesses. What kind of advice would you give to maybe, or do you give to your students when they're setting up their practice, or maybe somebody, especially now after the pandemic, where a lot of us couldn't work and might have lost some clients, I don't know, but just how to run a successful kinesiology business?
On the business side, that's a good question. Let me think of the key things, because there's so much you can do. But the key things are, first of all, get good training. If you have good training, respectable, solid training that pushes you, when you qualify, it will give you enormous confidence. You know, it really will. So you've got that confidence. If you are confident in what you're doing, energetically, you will attract clients to you and their energies will feel confident, and then results, because your business is not going to depend solely on marketing. Your business is going to depend on you giving good treatments that work, building a rapport with your clients. And that really comes from that inner confidence, which you can't fake. Fake a smile. You can't fake that inner confidence. So the first thing I say is make sure your training is really good and you feel strong with it. If you are on the point of training, if you are just starting out and you're not sure, maybe you've been given this huge toolkit, but you think, oh, that's a bit advanced. I think, oh, I'm not sure about that. Don't use those advanced techniques. This is what I say to the advanced training students. I say, you don't have to use them. They're there in your back pocket. You can practice them with friends. And when you feel confident, you expand your repertoire. Because, you know, the basics of kinesiology get you a long way. I remember a student in America, the one this is 20 years ago, was not confident. She'd had good training, but she didn't feel particularly confident. So she started up a practice just doing the spinal flush and what we call the quickie energy balance in Eden energy medicine. She had a thriving practice within a few weeks because she did a little within her comfort zone that she really was confident with. She did with feeling. She shared with love, and slowly she built up at her own pace. So I'd say that about training. I always say on business itself, you need to have ethics, you need to think about ethics and deal with your people with integrity. And you know, I am sure every single one of you who may be watching me now does exactly that. But sometimes, you know, with ethics, if you haven't studied them, part of our training is studying ethics, you don't know the pitfalls, you know, so just know the pitfalls legally and ethically before you take action, okay? Because if you work from the heart, obviously, and with ethics and integrity, that sets the energy of your practice. And again, clients feel safe. They feel truly safe with you. A very simple example of this is you have a husband and wife, and the husband brings his wife to you for a treatment. You're treating her, and then one day he catches you in reception and says, you know, oh, just tell me, how's she doing? You know, have you got rid of that problem yet, Maddie? Now, what are you going to do? That's an ethical problem, you know, and you have to be very clear on your boundaries, you know, and you develop your own way of saying, you say, you know, I just can't discuss your wife with you. I'm sure you'll understand that, you know, and she'll know that, and immediately she feels safer with you. Whereas if you've tittle-tattled with her husband, she's going to close up a little bit energetically in whatever way. So it's ethics, integrity, it's getting the training, and it's also building a network of other practitioners, not just other kinesiologists. Now, I did this, especially when I was in London. I had amazing acupuncturists, osteopaths, you know, other people outside of kinesiology and Eden energy medicine. And when I felt that another practitioner was better for that client at that time than me, I would refer on. Now, you need a bit of courage to do that because you think, oh, I might lose a client. I have never, ever, ever in all my career lost a client when I've referred them on. You know, I might say, do you know, I really think you ought to go and see a doctor. I think you ought to go and see an acupuncturist. I think you ought to, you know, whatever it is, a nutritionist, more qualified than myself. I've never, ever lost a client. They've always come back because, again, they realize that you're not just after what's in their wallet, you're after the best possible care for them. And you build a reputation if you do that. You might have short-term gain if you keep them to yourself. But if you don't work from fear, if you think, okay, I'm sharing. And also what that does, not everyone does this, but as you build a network, as you're generous in that sense, other practitioners will, and you'll get referrals. You know, so it becomes a two-way street. The other thing I say is you can't sort of open up your business and say, okay, I'm here now. The universe will provide. You've got to give the universe some tools known as marketing. And we can market better than ever before now with social media. It's free, it's easy, get familiar with it, be savvy with it, be discerning with it. Okay. But don't also underestimate the old-fashioned, when we can get back to being one-to-one, the old-fashioned sort of trawling your area. So what I would say to you is sort of do get a map and think, okay, a 5-mile radius around where you're working from, and think, now, who is my audience in this? You know, women, are they young? Are they middle-aged? Are you specializing in something? Who's your audience? Where are they going to be hanging out? Health food shop, health club, hairdressers? Where are they? You know, nutritionists, whatever. And then go around and talk to those places. You know, say it's a health food store. Get to know the manager of that store. Talk to him about or her about what you do, but don't stop there. Offer him or her a free session so they know, you know, they know what it is about. Don't be pushy or anything, but you give them something. It's human nature. If you give something, they're more inclined to put your poster in their window or talk about you. And also they'll talk about you with more confidence because they will have experienced the treatment. So, you know, you can do that. I know that 15 years ago, I moved I'm on the Isle of Wight at the moment. Hello from the Isle of Wight. But I moved to Spain, to southern Spain. And I went to a little fishing village where no one had heard of Donna Eden, no one had heard of energy medicine, certainly no one had heard of Madison King. And I thought, how am I going to start my business up here? Well, a lot of my work revolves around animals. So I got in touch with the local animal charity and I started working with them on animal rescue and everything. And I got to know the chair lady there, really a special woman. And I said, how about if I give, and they had a big mailing list, okay, because by now we're in the realms of internet. And I said, how about if I give a lecture to all the people you know, absolutely free, and they can make donations to the charity, you know. And so that's what I did. She said yes. All right, now I immediately had access, and most of the rescue people are my target audience, sort of middle-aged women, you know, who have a heart, you know. And I thought, what am I going to teach them? I couldn't go in teaching them about, you know, 2 advanced subjects, but I thought, what are they all interested? Every middle-aged woman, most middle-aged women are interested in losing weight. So I remember I did this talk on that, and it was called Lettuce Makes You Fat. Okay. And it was just you know, how does your body metabolize processed foods? I think I used the word processed foods. Bring to this talk the 12 foods that you eat, and I'm going to show if they make you fat or not, you know. Then I just showed them how they'd come up, you get them involved, energy testing the foods, taught them how to self-test. It was all huge. It was fun. I wasn't training practitioners. It was just fun. And from that 45-minute, 1-hour class, I got my client base. I had it,
wow.
You know. So that's the sort of thing. It doesn't have to cost a lot. Just be savvy. Who's my audience? How am I going to reach them? Is there a local newspaper? You know, don't be frightened to ask. The local radio station, I will approach magazines, papers. I've been in, I know, Marie Claire, other mainstream magazines. I can't think of them now. And over there, I got in writing for a lot of magazines because I phone and say, I've got this really interesting article. You've got to make it interesting. You've got to catch their attention. And the worst they can possibly say to you is no. But it's human nature. If they hear you on the radio or read about you in the local newspaper, then suddenly you've got credibility, and all these little things set you up, and it also really does give the universe, if you want, the opportunity to head you in the right direction. And the last thing I would say is really look within yourself, do you have a fear of being successful? We all think, oh, I've got a fear of failure, but some of us have this fear of being successful. So I would really, and I still do this now. I'm a bit of a hermit, really. And sometimes I know my mini me wants to take the hermit route. So just start, working on yourselves as you know. It's now safe for me to build a thriving kinesiology business. I find myself in the right place at the right time. It's happening, and it's happening now. Thank you. Make these sort of positive statements your mantra, so that energetically you're drawing circumstances towards you. You're inviting change, positive change and development, and your business evolution into you. So those are my key things. It's a mixture of making sure the energy is attracting it, getting out there and doing something which allows, whatever we call it, the universe to help you, and really working with integrity, building a network, and making sure you feel confident that your training is good.
That is amazing advice. That is beautiful. Thank you very much. Yeah, with the build a network.
Lettuce makes you fat, guys.
With the build a network, I thought, that's why we call complementary therapy. We're not alternative to anybody. We are able to talk to the body what it might need, and that might be out of our remit. But if we can see a problem that somebody else might be able to help emotionally, or somebody else in these interviews said, I think it was Natalie Davenport, if I'm not the right, if you're not better after 3 sessions, then I'm not the right practitioner for you, then the right therapist. So everybody, and that kind of goes back to the energy as well, to your own energy, doesn't it? If maybe I'm not the right person for this person.
And it's having the confidence to say that. And it's also from your own point of view. You have to look after yourself, and from your own point of view, say you have someone. Well, first of all, I'm a firm believer that nothing really presents itself in your practice room unless you're ready for it. There's something in me that's always had that belief, but occasionally it really pushes you to the boundaries. And if it pushes you to the boundaries and you think, I'm not comfortable, this is a psychological problem, I don't think I'm qualified enough, I don't know enough, say someone's got, schizophrenia or something, you think, oh, I don't think I can help this. Don't be afraid to refer on. And you can do it very compassionately so that no one feels they're rejecting you. They're being rejected, rather. And that's the art. I mean, if you've got a client that knows you, it's very easy to say, at the moment for this particular thing, I think this person can be fantastic for you. And then, you can come back, whatever. But sometimes you have someone come in for the first time and you think, you just know you're not the right person. And then it is doing it compassionately, and just chatting. And what I've done, a little tip I've done, is if that happens in the first consultation, and I think the very best person to help you is this osteopath or physiotherapist or nutritionist or doctor, acupuncture, whatever it is, I won't charge them for that, So I really want the best for you. And I think at the moment, you can do better than me. And I think this is the person. And that's why you need a network, because it's uncomfortable just saying, well, no, I'm not for you. Bye. It's no, not at the moment, but try this person. So you give them an alternative. Anyway.
No, that's fine. No, everything is so valid experience and wisdom, you know, that we just want to have on tape and share it with everybody. I mean, this is, yeah, the setting, you know, knowing your boundaries is kind of giving you the confidence as well as a practitioner, doesn't it? You know, when I started off, I was, you know, because you're so amazed about kinesiology, you think you can help everyone, and you kind of, I sometimes tried really hard, and then I just had to think, well, maybe I'm not the practitioner for them, or maybe, yeah, I just need to refer them on, and that's really good advice.
And that's the wisdom.
Yes. So speaking of wisdom, with our 30 years anniversary, 30 years is the Pearl anniversary. So we've got this theme of pearls of wisdom. So we're, I understand we're going to record your Pearl of Wisdom in a separate video, but maybe you can just give us a bit of a introduction, a bit of a taster, an appetizer of what people were going to see in with your Pearls of Wisdom, with all these many years of experience that you bring.
I still don't think I'm very wise, though, Betty. You know, I really
you are.
I always think, you know, really. But yes, you asked me to do this, and there's so many things. So I wanted to take it down. And my mantra is always keep it simple. Okay, so it is about keeping it simple. I'm going to share how you can up-level your belief in yourself, because the minute you believe in yourself, your clients are going to believe in yourself a lot more, and suddenly the universe, you're a little beacon for, you know, your business and for evolving as a practitioner. I'm also going to show you something. Now, this is something really specific. It's a little protocol. I've made it into protocol, but you can break it down. But there are some points which I really wish I'd known earlier on. Okay, because if you take it that we're working with the energies of the body, and, you know, we're energy testing, we're holding points there, what happens if the general energy in the body is really not flowing as it should be? So there, I'm going to show you how to, before you even start your session on yourself or on your client, how to get the energies moving. Because if the energies are really moving more as they should be, you know, you're more easily able to connect to them, access them, move them, and your whole treatment, whether it be on yourself or someone else, suddenly just goes up a notch. You know, it's a nuance, but it really works. And also talking about keeping it simple and not overloading the body. And also, I've got a little bonus Pearl of Wisdom, which I decided this morning I was going to add on, which is a specific point on the body which you can stroke or use. I'm not telling you now what it is. You'll have to listen to my Pearls of Wisdom. But what it does is it brings clarity for you as a practitioner, because sometimes, you know, however experienced you are, the energies are so sort of like this in a person. And this, when you get a client like that, or if yours are like that, by doing this point, the energies begin to align in a more coherent way, and it's easier to get clarity on exactly what that person needs. So that was another little goodie, which I actually only learned a few years ago. But you know, all these things they come to you when the time is right.
Yeah, when the time is right,
Yeah.
when you're right, that's amazing.
But they're very, very simple. So whether you're an absolute beginner just coming into it, or whether you're a seasoned, experienced practitioner, I hope that, you know, for both sides, it will be useful.
Beautiful. Absolutely amazing, Maddie. Thank you so much for your time, for all your wisdom, all your experience, your story. Amazing. So thank you very much. We will, go on and record the Pearls of Wisdom, and then we will put it all up on YouTube for everybody to see.
I'm looking forward to it, Bettina, and thank you for involving me in this 30th. And
definitely.
good luck
Pleasure.
to everyone out there.